Hello and welcome to Coffee with Susie. Today I'm going to talk more about IVF and the treatment itself, what happened with me, and as I went through 6 IVF cycles, it may be stretched over a few videos. As you can imagine, with IVF it is quite an in-depth process and takes quite a while. So firstly, let me say that I hope you're all well. Hope you're all keeping safe and coping okay in this lockdown, as I know it's a very hard time for a lot of people. So I'm going to start where I left off, talking about my first IVF, whereby it was at Care Fertility in Nottingham. I was having my first treatment, and this was funded by the NHS. You only get one treatment funded by the NHS in Lincolnshire. So I was really positive about this, and I really felt that this was my first stepping stone to becoming a mother, and I was actually really excited. So this IVF cycle, I would say, was the one that went the best, and if it can go the best, and like I said, I was very confident. Now, I'm not too sure who it is I'm speaking to at the moment, so I am just going to describe everything that happens within an IVF cycle. There are going to be a lot of ladies that are listening to this that know all this. So one thing I remember after my consultation at Care Fertility, when they were discussing what happens with IVF, that they take the egg from the ovaries after stimulating them, put them in a dish, allowing the sperm to try to fertilise with the egg, which is a very small part of the process. Went home, and me and my partner, we were very confident, and our drugs, well, my drugs arrived. Now, anybody who's been through IVF will remember that time when they received their drugs for the first time, and I think how overwhelming it was to open this box, which was this big. It's full of drugs, it's full of syringes, it's full of needles, and it's a really daunting experience, I think. So I felt very overwhelmed, and I didn't have anyone to talk to. There was nobody that I knew going through any sort of fertility treatment or even struggling to have children at that time. I was very lonely, and I felt like I was just in an abyss. I didn't have anybody around me that I felt understood. People tried to help, you know, they tried to give me advice or tried to give an opinion. But really and truly, unless you've gone through this, you don't understand. And that's still how I feel to this day. So I had this box of drugs. After emptying the box and going through it and placing things where I felt they needed to be, i.e. in the fridge, or syringes over here, needles over here, drugs over here, I got my protocol through the post a few days later. The protocol, for people that don't know what IVF is all about, the protocol is your treatment plan. And it was quite daunting again, but I felt ready to go, and my partner was very supportive and tried to help me as best he could. So we started the IVF process, and I started to inject myself every single day at a certain time with the drugs that would down-regulate me. So anybody who's not been through IVF, what they start to do is they basically stop you by giving you down-regulation drugs, which sends you into like a mini menopausal state. And once your hormone levels have dropped enough, they will then stimulate you. So What I mean by stimulate you is they will give you, will tell you to inject the drugs that will stimulate your ovaries. So this encourages the ovaries to stimulate, and where you would normally release 1 egg a month, your ovaries would release several, or they would grow several. So this was happening, and I actually felt still very, very confident that things were going well. As with any IVF, it's trial and error. So my first IVF, it was, well, I wasn't developing as many follicles in my ovaries as they would have liked. So I developed 5 after down regulation and stimulation. And I remember the nurse on the phone saying that the hormone levels weren't where they wanted them to be, and that the follicles really weren't big enough or enough in quantity that they felt that they might cancel the IVF and start again at a later date. And I was angry. I was so angry with my body. I was just like, why can't you just get this right? Why can't you just do as you're supposed to do? But it turned out okay. They were actually very happy with the size of the follicles, and they invited me in to have them taken out. And I went in, and that again is a very daunting experience. There's a hell of a lot of people all over the place, nurses, doctors, embryologists, and you do feel very, very daunted. However, it is a really, really lovely a load of staff that, I mean, they were so lovely at Nottingham Care Fertility. Really, really polite, friendly, encouraging, supportive. I could not fault them. They were amazing. So immediately when you're taken into your little room, they are chatting with you and being just so supportive. It brings you straight down to a relaxed state. Once it's your turn, you go into the theatre to have your eggs removed. Now, I was laid on the bed, and again, you're feeling very, very embarrassed, but by this point, ladies, let's face it, all your dignity went out the window a long time ago. However, you're laid there with no pants on, just your gown, and you are quite aware that things are going to be going on down there, and you're hoping and praying that they're going to knock you out for it. So they do give you it's like an anaesthetic to make you relax, and it does send some people to sleep and others not. It would just make you quite groggy. I was one of the lucky ones. I was out like a light, and I was even more wanting to be out like a light when I realised that the anaesthetist doctor that was administering this particular drug was gorgeous, and I was so embarrassed. Honestly, I was just like, knock me out now, please, just knock me out now. Ain't no way I want him seeing my legs in stirrups. Anyway, I woke up and I was already in the recovery area, and they managed to get the 5 eggs out, and they're all grade 1 quality, which is really, really good. Embryologists will grade your eggs, and grade 1 is supposed to be the best. Now, I will just say this, I have known people since then who have had grade 2, grade 3 eggs, and they have gone on to have healthy, beautiful babies. So it's not all about the grade. I just wanted to say that. And so I went home feeling a little bit sore, which you do for quite a while, I'd say a week. Your stomach bloats a bit, and you do need to just take a bit of care of yourself, a bit of TLC, and relax. And then you get the phone calls. So 24 hours after the eggs have been taken, you're then called by the embryologist to tell you how many have fertilised. So there's a mixture of emotions, I would say excitement and fear. And 4 of mine had fertilised overnight and were hoping to start dividing. So this is cell division. So once embryo fertilises, then there's cell division. So these cells start to divide, and the more cell division, the better. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and all 4 were dividing well. I was so pleased. So whilst you're trying to recover from the eggs being taken out, which, like I said, you are quite sore and bloated, then hearing that news, it kind of makes it all worth it. So a few days, I think it was 2-3 days in, they booked me in for egg transfer. So egg transfer, again, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a nice experience when it comes to dignity. You do feel a little bit like the eyes are on your vagina. I'm not gonna lie. You have your legs in stirrups, and there's a gynecologist, or I'd say, well, they're not gynecologists, are they? The consultant IVF doctor, and he's down there with a little light on his head, and he's poking it up to talk to you, then he's back down again, and there's people walking in and out, and oh god, I just remember that. I remember what exactly the room looked like, I remember the lighting, I remember the colours, the smells. It kind of embeds in you, I think. It took about half an hour, and you have to have a full bladder for this, and I don't get on very well with a full bladder. I unfortunately, due to the fact that I don't have a colon, so my large intestine and a quarter of my small intestine was taken as a baby, if I need to go, I need to go. So I was in a lot of pain laid there, and I was trying to get my breathing right, because they're pressing on your belly with a scanner so that they can see where they're placing the embryo in your uterus. But they managed to get it in. So it takes about half an hour, like I said, and these doctors all sort of congregate round just to check that it's in the right place. And I remember Dr. Naduk, his name was, lovely, lovely man. He shook my partner's hand and said, "Congratulations, you're now pregnant." And this excitement just erupted in me, that right now I am pregnant. Now my body just needs to do what any female's body needs to do, and it needs to hold on to it. So we went home, and I remember we had a lovely, lovely meal that night, really healthy. As with a lot of the ladies on here, you'll understand when I say that you cut out a lot for IVF. So you cut out your caffeine, you cut out all your rubbish food, your sugars, just because you want to give your embryo the best chance of taking. So we had a lovely healthy meal, an early night, and I was feeling really, really confident about the next stage. And when I say to the ladies that have been through IVF, 2-week wait, you'll understand. Those of you who haven't been through IVF yet, or are just about to go through it, the 2-week wait is, I'm not gonna lie, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Within the 2-week wait, you analyse every twinge, everything that you do. You overanalyze everything you feel, you overanalyze, just because you're trying your best to hold on to that baby, and hoping and praying that you are pregnant at the end of this 2 weeks when you take that little test that they give you. So I'm going to leave it there, because I feel the next point of my story, my journey with this first IVF, will take quite a while to explain. I will be discussing exactly what happened on that 4th of November 2006, which is the date that I tested. And I feel it's important that I give a whole video to that. So I hope this has helped for ladies that are about to go through IVF, or ladies that have been through IVF, and that maybe I've made you smile a little bit with some of the things that that I've said, because hopefully you can resonate with what I'm saying about certain things and how embarrassing they are. But the next video will be a little bit different, and we'll go into the result of a 2-week wait and exactly what happens from there. So I hope everybody has a great day and a really good weekend. Looking forward to speaking to you next time. If you have any questions for me at all about any of my IVF treatments, as they've all been very, very different, as you'll notice as we go along, then please get in touch with me. I am literally here all the time to help people with their journey. It's one of those things that I don't feel there's enough support for, as I've said before, and I just wish that I'd have had somebody there to talk to, even if it hadn't have been somebody that I really knew, but somebody who could empathise with what I was going through, because they've been through it themselves. So if anybody wants to discuss anything with me or ask any questions, then please do so. And I will see you next time with Coffee with Susie. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. Thank you.